The sum of the first 16 terms of an arithmetic sequence is 920. A. Find the common difference D of the sequence if the first term is 27.5, and B. Find the first term of the sequence if the common difference D is 11. Let's talk about some vocabulary first. So we have arithmetic sequence. An arithmetic sequence is simply a sequence of numbers that continues based on the common difference. So for example, if we were looking at counting by twos, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, that is an arithmetic sequence because my numbers are increasing by 2. So that value D tells us how our sequence continues. So you're adding the same value every time to get your sequence. Now, for this particular problem, we're talking about the sum of the terms of an arithmetic sequence, and that is called an arithmetic series. And we have two formulas that we can use if we're trying to determine the arithmetic series, and we use whichever formula makes sense in the context of the problem. So based on the information that we're given, that's going to determine which one we're going to use. And we're going to use the second formula because we see in A that we're trying to find the common difference D. So we're using the formula that has the variable D. Now, it's as simple as identifying the parts of the formula that were given in the problem. So for example, we have 920, which is our sum, represented by S with a subscript of N. We have 16, which is going to be our N. So N in this case is going to be the number of terms that we're talking about. And in this problem, we're just talking about the first 16. So N is going to be 16. And then we also have A, which is going to be the first term of the sequence. And they tell us that is 27.5. So putting that all together or substituting those values into the formula, this is what we have. So now we're going to go through line by line and we're going to simplify this information. So we're going to divide 16 by 2, which gives us 8. And then we see that 2 times 27.5 was 55. And then notice in parentheses, we have 16 minus 1 times D. So we have 920 is equal to 8 times the quantity 55 plus 15D. We're going to distribute that 8. Now we have 920 is equal to 440 plus 120D. We're going to subtract 440 from both sides of our equation. And then in the last step, of course, we're going to divide both sides of our equation by 120. So we see that D is equal to 4. And so this is the common difference. And what this means is if our first term is 27.5, like they tell us, I can find my second term by simply adding 4, which would be 31.5. And then I can find the third term by adding 4 again, which would give me 35.5, and so on. So for part B, it's pretty much the same process. The difference is they've changed up the problem a little bit. And this time we're looking for the first term, and we actually know the common difference now. So same thing applies. We're going to go ahead and use that second formula because that is the formula that has a variable D in it. So it makes sense to use that one. And again, we're going to substitute all of those values where they need to go into the formula. So our sum is 920, and again, is 16. This time, the first term, what we don't know, we're just going to use A. And then we do have the common difference D, which they tell us is 11. So again, replacing those variables with the appropriate values, this is what we have. And then you go through and you simplify. We distribute that 8. We end up with 920 is equal to 16A plus 1,320. We're going to subtract 1,320 from both sides. Then we're going to divide both sides of our equation by 16, leaving us with A is equal to negative 25. And just a little comment, because I know sometimes students get a negative value and they think something is wrong. It is completely valid for you to have a negative value for one of the terms in your sequence. So if the first term is negative 25 and my common difference is 11, all I'm doing is adding 11 to get to that second term, in which case would be negative 14. All right, let me know if you have any questions in the comments.